For anyone living with diabetes or even just trying to keep their blood sugar in check, fruit can feel like a nutritional minefield. One day you're told to eat more produce for better health, and the next you're warned to avoid anything sweet, including fruit. It's confusing, frustrating, and often leads to unnecessary fear or restriction. After all, fruit is nature's candy packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and powerful antioxidants. So why is it so controversial when it comes to diabetes? The truth is, not all fruits affect your blood sugar in the same way. Some can be valuable allies in managing diabetes, while others can make it harder to maintain stable glucose levels, especially when eaten in excess or the wrong form. The key to understanding fruit's role in your diet is to look beyond the sugar content and focus on something called the glycemic index. This simple number reveals how quickly a food raises your blood sugar, and it's a crucial tool for anyone navigating diabetes or prediabetes. Consider this: nearly half of all American adults are living with diabetes or prediabetes, many without even knowing it. With these numbers rising, understanding the right way to enjoy fruit has never been more important. The good news: you don't have to cut out fruit entirely. Instead, making smarter choices like favoring low to moderate GI fruits and eating them in their whole, unprocessed forms can help you enjoy their natural sweetness without derailing your blood sugar. In this guide, we'll reveal the top 3 fruits that diabetes experts at the Cleveland Clinic actually recommend, and spotlight one everyday fruit that could quietly spike your blood sugar if you're not careful. Ready to take the guesswork out of your fruit bowl? Let's get started. The fruit dilemma in diabetes. If you've ever been told to stay away from fruit because of your blood sugar, you're not alone. It's one of the most common and confusing pieces of advice people with diabetes hear. On one hand, fruit is packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. On the other, it's naturally sweet and contains sugar. So what's the real story? Let's start with this. Not all fruits are created equal, especially when it comes to managing diabetes. Some fruits can actually help stabilize blood sugar and reduce the risk of complications. Others, however, might be doing more harm than good, especially if eaten in the wrong form or quantity. Here's a number that might surprise you. According to the CDC, over 37 million Americans have diabetes, and about 96 million more are considered pre-diabetic. That means nearly half the adult population needs to think twice about their blood sugar and what they're putting on their plate. So, what role do fruits play in all this? The key lies in something called the glycemic index, or GI for short. It measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. Low GI foods cause a gradual rise in blood sugar, while high GI foods lead to sharp spikes. For people with diabetes, choosing low to moderate GI fruits is one of the smartest dietary moves they can make. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just the type of fruit that matters, it's also how it's prepared. Whole fruits, with their natural fiber, slow down digestion and sugar absorption. Fruit juices, on the other hand, strip away that fiber and deliver a sugar hit straight to your bloodstream. In this video, we're diving into 3 fruits that are not just safe for diabetics, they're actually recommended by top medical experts at the Cleveland Clinic. These fruits are delicious, satisfying, and scientifically proven to support better blood sugar control. But we're also going to talk about one popular fruit that could be quietly sabotaging your efforts, especially if you eat it every day. So stay with us. What you learn today might completely change the way you think about your fruit bowl and help you take one more step toward healthier living. 1. Apples. Let's start with one of the most familiar fruits on the planet, and one of the most beneficial for people with diabetes. The humble apple. You've probably heard the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." Well, that old wisdom holds up surprisingly well when it comes to blood sugar management. Apples are rich in a type of fiber called pectin, which slows down digestion and helps regulate the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. This means less spiking and more stability. Exactly what someone with diabetes needs. But there's more. Apples are considered a low glycemic fruit, typically scoring between 30 and 40 on the GI scale. That's well below the danger zone, making them a safe and satisfying choice for managing blood sugar. And because they have both soluble and insoluble fiber, apples also support gut health, which plays an increasingly recognized role in metabolic function and insulin sensitivity. Here's what many people don't realize: the skin of the apple is where much of the good stuff lives. It's packed with polyphenols, plant compounds, with powerful antioxidant effects. These help reduce inflammation, support your immune system, and even protect the cells in your pancreas that produce insulin. Now, you might be wondering, what about the sugar in apples? Isn't it still sugar? Yes, but it's naturally occurring fructose. And thanks to the fiber in the apple, it's released into your bloodstream slowly. Compare that to processed sugar, or even the sugar in fruit juice, which hits your system like a freight train. And here's a tip most people don't know. Green apples, like Granny Smith's, tend to have slightly less sugar and more fiber than sweeter red varieties. If you're watching your glucose closely, green might be the better choice. What's also great about apples is how versatile they are. You can slice them into oatmeal, dip them in almond butter, toss them into salads, or just enjoy them whole as a crunchy, on-the-go snack. And because they're high in water content, they help you feel full longer, which can reduce cravings and support weight control. Another key piece of diabetes management. But here's the takeaway. Apples are more than just a sweet treat. They're a smart, evidence-based choice for anyone looking to keep their blood sugar steady while still enjoying fruit. Coming up next, we'll look at a group of tiny fruits that pack a huge nutritional punch and might just be the best-kept secret in diabetes-friendly eating. Number 2, berries. If apples are the classic choice, berries are the quiet superstars, tiny, colorful, and bursting with health benefits that make them especially valuable for people managing diabetes. Let's start with the basics. Berries, especially blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are among the lowest sugar fruits available. A half cup of raspberries, for example, contains just 2.7 grams of sugar and a whopping 4 grams of fiber. That's a combination that helps slow down digestion, minimize blood sugar spikes, and keep you feeling full and satisfied. But berries offer more than just low sugar. They're rich in antioxidants, especially anthocyanins, the pigments that give berries their vibrant red, blue, and purple colors. These compounds have been shown in studies to improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and protect cells from oxidative stress, which plays a major role in the complications of diabetes. In fact, research from the Journal of Nutrition found that people who consumed blueberries daily experienced improved insulin sensitivity over just 6 weeks. That means their bodies were better able to move sugar out of the blood and into the cells where it's needed. And that's exactly what every person with prediabetes or diabetes is aiming for. What's more, berries have an incredibly low glycemic index. Blueberries, for instance, score around 53. Strawberries are even lower, around 41. That makes them a safe bet for keeping your blood sugar balanced, especially when compared to higher GI fruits or processed snacks. Here's something that might surprise you. Frozen berries are just as healthy as fresh ones. In fact, they're often picked and frozen at peak ripeness, which preserves their nutrients. That means you can enjoy berries year-round blended into smoothies, sprinkled on Greek yogurt, or eaten right out of the bag for a simple snack. But what sets berries apart isn't just their nutrition, it's their impact on your cravings. Because they're so flavorful, even a small handful can satisfy a sweet tooth without overloading you with sugar. That makes them a powerful tool for those trying to cut back on sugary desserts while still enjoying something delicious. And let's not forget, berries are also hydrating, support brain health, and promote heart function areas that are often impacted in people living with diabetes. So the next time you're reaching for a sweet treat, skip the cookie and go for a cup of berries instead. Your blood sugar and your body will thank you. Coming up next, we'll talk about a fruit that's sweet, juicy, and often misunderstood in the diabetes world, the orange. 3. Orange's sweet, juicy, and refreshing nothing quite compares to a ripe orange. But for people managing diabetes, this citrus fruit can be both a friend and a potential foe, depending on how it's consumed. Let's start with the good news. Whole oranges, eaten fresh, are packed with nutrients that support blood sugar control and overall health. They're an excellent source of vitamin C, which helps strengthen the immune system and combat oxidative stress, a common concern for people with diabetes. But there's something even more important: fiber. A medium orange contains about 3 grams of fiber, including soluble fiber, which slows down the absorption of sugar in your digestive system. This means that the natural sugars in the fruit are released gradually, preventing the sudden spikes and crashes that can wreak havoc on blood sugar levels. What most people don't realize is that the glycemic index of a whole orange is relatively low, usually around 40. That makes it a safe choice for most people with diabetes, as long as it's eaten in moderation. And thanks to its high water content, an orange is more filling than it may appear, making it a great option for curbing hunger without overdoing the carbs. But here's the critical distinction: whole orange versus orange juice. This is where things often go wrong. Orange juice, even if it's labeled 100% juice, is highly concentrated in sugar and stripped of nearly all its fiber. One small glass can contain the sugar equivalent of 3 or 4 oranges, hitting your bloodstream fast and hard. That's why the Cleveland Clinic and many nutrition experts strongly recommend skipping the juice and sticking with the whole fruit. And don't forget about portion control. While oranges are healthy, they still contain carbohydrates, so it's best to enjoy them as part of a balanced meal or alongside some protein or healthy fat, like a handful of almonds or a boiled egg to further slow sugar absorption. Here's another tip: the white layer under the peel, called the pith, is full of bioflavonoids and fiber. So when peeling your orange, don't go overboard trying to remove every bit of that spongy white layer. It's actually doing your body a favor. Oranges also support heart health by reducing blood pressure and cholesterol, important benefits, since people with diabetes are at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease. So including them regularly in your diet can offer protection on multiple fronts. In short, a whole orange is a naturally sweet, nutrient-rich option that fits well into a diabetic-friendly diet, Just make sure it's the fruit, not the juice. Next up, we'll take a look at a popular fruit that many people eat daily, often without realizing it may be driving their blood sugar up faster than expected. The fruit to avoid: bananas. Bananas are one of the most consumed fruits in the world. They're easy to grab, affordable, and naturally sweet. But if you're managing diabetes or watching your blood sugar, there's something important you need to know. Bananas might not be as harmless as they seem. Let's break it down. Bananas have a medium to high glycemic index, depending on their ripeness. A slightly green, less ripe banana might score around 42-50 on the GI scale, but a fully ripe banana, with brown spots, can reach a GI of 62 or higher. That puts it in the moderate to high range, meaning it can spike blood sugar levels more quickly than other fruits. And it's not just about the GI. One medium banana contains about 27 grams of carbohydrates, most of it from sugar. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the same carb load as 2 slices of white bread. For someone trying to keep blood sugar steady, that can be a significant spike in a single snack. Here's what makes it even trickier. Bananas are often eaten alone, without any fiber, protein, or fat to slow down digestion. That means the sugar from the banana gets absorbed rapidly, sending blood glucose levels on a fast rise. Now, does this mean bananas are bad for everyone with diabetes? Not necessarily. Bananas do offer some nutritional benefits, including potassium, vitamin B6, and small amounts of fiber. But the key is moderation and timing. If you love bananas and want to include them in your diet, here are a few smart tips. Choose smaller, less ripe bananas. They have less sugar and a lower glycemic load. Pair bananas with a protein or fat source like peanut butter, Greek yogurt, or a handful of nuts to slow down sugar absorption. Eat them earlier in the day when your body is more insulin sensitive, rather than late at night. But for many people, especially those struggling to maintain stable glucose levels, bananas are better eaten sparingly. And if you're looking for a safer everyday fruit, the apples and berries we discussed earlier are often a better fit. What's surprising is how common it is for people to unknowingly overconsume bananas, especially in smoothies. One banana in your drink might not seem like much, but when combined with other fruits and juice, it can quickly turn into a sugar bomb. Here's the bottom line: bananas aren't evil, but they're not as diabetic-friendly as people often think. Treat them as a treat, not a daily staple, especially if you're working hard to keep your blood sugar in check. Next, we'll wrap up with some simple, science-backed tips for eating fruit smarter, and how to make sure your choices support your long-term health. Fruit consumption tips for diabetics. We've talked about the best and the worst fruits for managing blood sugar. But how you eat fruit is just as important as what fruit you choose. A few simple shifts in how you approach fruit can make a big difference in controlling your glucose and maintaining steady energy throughout the day. First and foremost, always choose whole fruits over fruit juices or dried varieties. Whole fruits retain their natural fiber, which slows digestion and moderates the release of sugar into your bloodstream. That fiber is key. It's what turns a sweet piece of fruit into a blood sugar-friendly food. Fruit juice, even when labeled 100% natural, is a different story. A single cup of orange juice can contain over 20 grams of sugar and virtually no fiber. The same goes for apple juice, grape juice, and even seemingly healthy green juices that include fruits. They're quickly absorbed and can send your blood sugar soaring. If you're craving something juicy, opt instead for the whole orange, apple, or a handful of grapes. Next, be mindful of portion sizes. Even low GI fruits like apples and berries can affect blood sugar if eaten in excess. A good rule of thumb: stick to about 1 cup of fruit per serving, or 1 medium-sized piece. It's enough to get the benefits without tipping the balance. Pairing is another powerful strategy. When you combine fruit with a source of protein or healthy fat, like a slice of cheese, some nuts, or a scoop of unsweetened Greek yogurt, you create a more balanced snack. This slows digestion, improves satiety, and reduces the overall impact on your blood sugar. Frozen fruits are another smart option, especially when fresh produce isn't in season. As long as they're not sweetened or packed in syrup, frozen fruits retain most of their nutrients and fiber. You can stir them into oatmeal, smoothies, or even eat them straight from the freezer for a cool, refreshing treat. And here's one more important tip: beware of canned fruit. Many canned varieties are stored in heavy syrup or sweetened water, which dramatically increases the sugar content. Always read the label and look for no added sugar or packed-in water options. Timing also matters. Eating fruit earlier in the day, especially with breakfast or lunch, can be easier on your system than indulging late at night. Your body tends to handle carbohydrates better earlier, when insulin sensitivity is higher. Finally, listen to your body and monitor your response. Everyone reacts a little differently to different fruits. Keeping a food and blood sugar journal for a few days can help you identify which fruits work best for your unique metabolism. The good news: you don't have to give up fruit to manage diabetes. With the right choices and habits, fruit can remain a joyful, healthful part of your life. Next, we'll bring it all together with a quick recap and a call to action, because small changes, when made consistently, can lead to big results. Fruit doesn't have to be feared if you're living with diabetes. In fact, when chosen and eaten wisely, it can be one of the most powerful allies in your daily health routine. We've covered the top 3 fruits backed by science and recommended by institutions like the Cleveland Clinic: apples, berries, and oranges, all of which are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and nutrients that support steady blood sugar and overall wellness. We also highlighted bananas, not to shame them, but to bring awareness to how even healthy foods can work against your goals if consumed in the wrong way or too frequently. Understanding the glycemic index, portion sizes, and how to pair fruits with proteins or fats can help you enjoy sweetness without the sugar crash. Remember this: it's not about avoiding fruit altogether. It's about becoming a smarter fruit eater. You don't need extreme diets or constant restrictions to manage your blood sugar. Instead, you need clarity, consistency, and a few small habits that work for your body. Whole fruits in moderation, eaten with balance and care, can be part of a joyful, sustainable lifestyle. So, as you look at your next meal or reach for a snack, ask yourself, is this fruit helping me or spiking me? That one question alone could change your health journey. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you care about, and consider subscribing for more trusted health advice. And if you found a fruit strategy that works for you, share it in the comments. We'd love to hear what's working in your life. Until next time, take good care of yourself, and remember, small steps lead to lasting change.